Hello everyone, welcome to the lesson recording for the presentations unit at Computer Fundamentals. Now you'll see the date for presentations unit says week 6, but this course may be slightly different from yours depending on what block you're in, but this is all about the presentations unit, so you don't worry about the week or the dates, just remember that this is for the presentations unit that you are in, no matter when you're taking this class. So the presentations unit, you're doing the week 6 write-up, then you have project 1 presentation, then you use project 1 to create project 2 presentation. Then you have the exam, so only 4 things to do. And as you see, presentations unit is the last week of new work. So this is the last part, so any other extra time in this course, you'll be able to get old work revised and made up. So let's jump right down into the presentations unit. So as you look at the presentations unit, it's all about using PowerPoint, right? Now if you're using OpenOffice presentations tool, it will be very similar to this. Some of the commands might be slightly different. So all about presentations, authoring presentations, getting your point across, right? So let's jump into the write-up. And let's see, explain what persuasive technology is, how many points per slide should you have, give an example of good font use, give an example of bad font use in presentations. So as we look at this presentations, PowerPoint is used mostly in industry and home office and business, but I mean it's really grown for office and schools are starting to use it more and more, schools particularly. So let's jump into section 2, all about presentations. And what we're talking about is what's called persuasive technology. And persuasive technology are the ways you present or promote a point of view. So it's ways that you try to convince somebody about what you are thinking or about the information you want to share. So that's what persuasive technology is. And you see down here, you have computers that have all of these capabilities. Then you have all these types of persuasion behaviors and activities and such. Well, where those two things meet, where you use technology to get these points across, then that's called persuasive technology. So again, it's the techniques used to present or promote a person's point of view or what they're thinking or what they want to share with other people. Now in this section, we're going to look at the fundamental concepts of presentations and look at basic elements of a PowerPoint presentation. So this persuasive technology, so you want to take a look at this, see if you can get those answers correct. Do's and don'ts of PowerPoint. Now there's some other things to think about, like poorly created presentations can have too many colors, the graphics can be distracting, poor public speakers might think that the presentation is fantastic, but then they present it wrong, correct? Now you can go right here and you can look at the different do's and don'ts of presentations. So here's a little slide, and go through this and you'll learn some of the do's and don'ts, and this will answer some of the questions on the write-ups. So it's going to talk about all these different slide structure and things like that. Make your first or second slide an outline slide, then follow with other slides. Use 1 or 2 slides per minute if you're presenting. Include only 4 or 5 points per slide. 4 or 5 points per slide, so you don't put too much on one slide. This contains too many words, right? This isn't done in bulleted form, this is done in paragraph form. This isn't the way to do it. And you want to show one point at a time, so if you can create your presentation that shows one point at a time, like this, you can see how beneficial that is to the audience, right? Now here's bad slide structure bad. I'm not sure with that. I'm not sure what this is supposed to look like. Oh, here we go. I can do. That's back to good. I'm not sure what the bad one's supposed to show. So you want to have at least 18-point size font so people can read it if it's on a projector. So you really need to be careful. You want to use a standard font or a regular typeface like Times New Roman or Arial so people can read it easily. Capitalize only when necessary. You can see these two are difficult to read, right? Aren't they? This is too small, so that's no good. Use color of the fonts that contrast with the background, like blue on white, so you can see it easily. So this is a good example, blue on white. You can emphasize points with a certain color if you want to. Now look at these bad colors, like this yellow on white is really bad. This writing right here is really hard to see. Reds are difficult for lots of people to read. So you don't want to distract your audience, you want them to pay attention. Use simple backgrounds so you can see this template with these colors. They're very simple. So you want light backgrounds. Avoid this kind of junk, right? Use graphs to show information. Graphs are easier for people to comprehend and understand. Always put titles on your graphs. So here's a graph. This is easy for people to understand as far as they see the information, but they have no idea what it means, right? Now look at this. This is much more user-friendly than the previous one. So look at this graph. Has no title, doesn't tell me what any of these numbers mean, but now if I go to this graph, I can really see the different sales we had, right? So that's the great way to do a graph. Too much information here. The lines are getting in the way. You can't read the numbers very well, even though it's the same information. Look how hard it is to read. So those minor grid lines you don't want to use. The font is too small. The colors are illogical. So that's all the bad stuff about the one we just looked at. Make sure you proof your slides. Look for spelling mistakes. See the word spelling is wrong. The use of repeated words. So make sure you do all that. Effective, strong closing if you're doing a presentation. In your presentation with a simple slide, invite your audience to ask questions. Just don't end the presentation. You want to gradually get into the end of the presentation. So just a few things about doing presentations and slides. Opening a presentation, so you might want to follow these directions to open a PowerPoint. So watch that little video. Navigating, of course you have the menu bar at the top, toolbars down at the top and the bottom. The slide tab, this is where you can see what your slides are. The scroll bars, up, down, left, and right. The notes section at the bottom, that's where you can put notes for yourself as a presenter. Then the whole window itself, and then the status bar at the bottom. The different parts of a presentation or a PowerPoint window. Slides as pages. Each slide, think of each slide as a page. So you can see how this person is clicking through over here. So each slide is a different page. That's what you want to think about. Then of course you save your presentation. So in summary, we looked at each slide as its own text or own document essentially. Slides that have different types of information, text, graphics, images. Presentations are persuasive technology. So let's go back to the write-up, see if we answered any of these questions. I think I answered them all. Explain what persuasive technology is, how many points per slide. We saw that, didn't we? Give an example of good font use, give an example of bad font use. And it talked about those things. Slide 3, or section 3. In PowerPoint, what is the term used for places you type in words? What is the general guidelines for use of bullets? What are the three format types of bullets? So now creating and formatting a PowerPoint. So this is going to walk you through creating a PowerPoint. So you just kind of watch this little video. It's going to talk about different things on a PowerPoint. So you can see that they're going to open the PowerPoint and then do a little bit of work with it. So we're going to explore fundamental concepts of PowerPoint, basic elements of a presentation, create and manipulate a presentation. So good rule. A good rule is save often, right? It's a good rule with anything you do on the computer. I often, if I'm creating a presentation or a Word document, as soon as I open up my blank screen before I even start it, I go ahead and save it with the name I want to give it before I start doing work. It's just to make my life much easier later in case I lose it or in case power goes out or something. The title slide. So the title slide is always your first slide. So the title slide, you want to have the title of what your presentation is about. And you can add a subtitle to it if you want to. So you have to have a title slide. And the boxes you type in, those are called text boxes. So where you put your information in PowerPoint, those are called text boxes. And you can drag and drop and move those around too. Entering a subtitle. So you can see they're keep going along with this. They're going to put a subtitle in for this. Pardon my phone ringing. So you're putting a subtitle in. Formatting the text box. So once you create your text boxes, then you can format them to make them look how you want. And you can format just certain characters or the entire text box. Now, changing the formatting in text, so here's a little tutorial on that. And changing the formatting in text is just like you would do with Office or Microsoft Word or Excel. So you can see how you can format things to make them look nicer. Most of you understand how to do all that. Adding a slide, you can always click on New Slide button to add a new slide. And that might be useful for you because you're going to be doing a presentation that has 3 slides to it. Bullets. Bullets are really important. Bullets are a way to show your list of information. So you can see what this person is doing. They're typing in information, they hit enter, and then it creates a new bullet. Those are called bullet points. And there are different ways you can structure your bullets. So those are just regular bullets, but you can also have numbered bullets. And I'll show you how to do that shortly. So here's numbered bullets. So if you look at this, so they had those types of bullets, then they just went up to the top and shows numbered bullets. So there's automatic numbered bullets. And you're going to do that in your presentation. So for bullets, there are 3 different things you can do. You can do regular bullets like dots, or you can do numbered bullets, or you can do characters on the bullets. See those? Or you can do alphabetic on the bullets. So there are really like 4 or 5 different types of bullets you can do. Finally, summary for this section. We looked at text boxes, how we can format text boxes, bullets, and presentations have slides and multiple text slides. So now for your first assignment in this unit. Now I have a presentation to go over this exactly, but your first slide, you're going to go back to the science experiment that you did back in the documents unit. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that science experiment and then you're going to convert it into a PowerPoint. So for this one, and what you do when you work on that new presentation, you're going to save it as Science Experiment 1. That's going to be a PowerPoint. And what you're going to do on this presentation, you're going to have a title slide, one slide describing the objective using a bullet, using bullets. So remember, in that original document that you did in Documents Unit, you had an objective paragraph. So you'll just take that objective paragraph, you'll copy it into your PowerPoint, and then you'll adjust it so it is bullet point form rather than paragraph form, so that you have statements in bullet form rather than a paragraph. And then your third slide is going to be your procedures numbered bullets. Remember, you had procedures in your original word processing unit document. So you'll just put those procedures, so this will end up with 3 slides. And you'll save that presentation. So that's the first assignment. Now let's go back to the write-up, make sure we answered these questions. What are the general guidelines for use of bullets? Really, general guideline is that they are short bits of information, not paragraphs. 3 format types for bullets. We talked about, you could have numbered bullets, you could have lettered bullets, you could have character bullets, right? Okay, now moving into section 4, drawings and diagrams. And you can add drawings and diagrams to your slides, and the reason we're looking at this is because for project 2, that's what you're going to create. So we're going to look at the basic elements of PowerPoint, manipulate a PowerPoint, and create diagrams within PowerPoint. Now you have your drawing tools there at the top of your PowerPoint screen. And if you go over this, you look at all the different things you can add to PowerPoints. So it's View, Toolbars, Drawing. Now the Drawing tool, it's called a floating toolbar. What a floating toolbar means is that it's a separate box and it can be moved around. So that's the class connector write-up question. That's what a floating toolbar is. Drawing an object. So here's a little tutorial on drawing an object, and I'll show you a little bit of practice in a minute. But you can see they're drawing a text box, drawing a text oval, all kinds of things you can draw on a slide. Selecting objects. Once you have an object on the slide, then it has these handles around it, meaning that it's selected. Those are called handles. So once you click on it, then it has handles. Fill versus line. Now this is giving you a demonstration of how you can have fill. So this is fill, like it fills it up with the color blue. And down here, this is going to put a line around that object. So watch what they're doing here. So they're going to change the fill, and they put a line around the object and hit OK. So now that box looks different than it did before. So you can make your drawn items look a lot different. Resizing an object, just click on it so it's active, then grab the handle and move the handle. You can also rotate an object, turn it upside down, sideways, whatever you want. Now this is talking about text and objects, and how you have text and objects. So this one is typing text in that box, and then it's going to show you how you can do some manipulation with that. Actually, I guess it's not. I guess it's just going to show you that it's a text box. So they filled and outlined a text box and then typed text in the box. So summary. So picture's worth 1,000 words. So what we try to do is to create really good presentations, because that gets our point across much better. So for most presentations, the drawing tools can be very effective to get your point across. So now in Project 2, you're going to open up the one you did before that had the 3 slides. You're going to open that up, and then you're going to immediately save it as Science Experiment 2, and then you're going to add a 4th slide at the end. So this is going to be slide number 4. Give the slide a meaningful title, and this is going to have drawings that supplement the work that you did. It could be a flow chart, stick drawings representing your experiment, etc. But you need to have at least 10 objects and 4 to 6 different colors, at least 1 arrow and at least 1 auto shape. So you can click right here to see how you're going to be graded on that. So again, all you're doing is you're taking your Science Experiment 1, the previous PowerPoint that had 3 slides, and you are adding a 4th slide to it. And the 4th slide has these requirements. So make an interesting slide. In the past, I've had students put arrows, and then they put text boxes that show each step of their presentation. I've had students that have animated the 4th slide and had different features moving around. So there's all types of things you can do depending on the topic for your presentation. So let's go back to the write-up. So what is a floating toolbar? We talked about that. And using tables, what do you call the boxes in which you can type information? Now this is talking about tables, not slides. So let's go look at tables. Now you can use tables in PowerPoint. Let's look at this. See this information? It's kind of difficult to read, isn't it? Well, if I move down, look at that. Much more easy to read, isn't it? The information is in a table. Much more easy to read. Identify the basic elements of a PowerPoint. Manipulate PowerPoint presentation. Create and insert tables. So again, this is the same thing. You know, data is organized not by just day, but by team. So you can see what they did in this table, how it really makes it organized, how we can see all the information. I like how they did the lost and won, so you can see right off the bat how many games they lost and won. Now this is a little tutorial about inserting a table. So it's at the insert menu at the top of PowerPoint, insert table, then you would tell it how many rows, how many columns. So watch that just to see how to put a table in, because you might want to put a table in your project too. Now where you put information in a table, that's called a cell, just like in Excel when we worked on that. So a cell is like a mini text box, but the answer to this is in a table. When you type information into the cell. Formatting cells, you can do all kinds of things with cells. So you click in the cell, then right click, and then you can choose what you want to do within that cell. More formatting on cells. So this is just talking about how you can fix it to get the table to look like what you want. Undo button. Control Z is always the undo button in anything you do in PowerPoint, Excel, Word, whatever it happens to be. So what other options do you have with tables? Reduce the font size so the words fit. Change the words. Rotate the words. So there's all different types of things that you could do to make this look much different. So in summary, we looked at specific information in a structured way is what tables can do. Help the reader stay focused and organized, and highlight specific pieces of information with the table. Now there's no other, I'm not sure why I'm getting that, but there's nothing beyond that. There's no other work for this. So let's go back to the write-up. So in using tables, we talked about the box where you type information in a table. What options do you have if you want to print your presentation to give to your audience? This is a really important part. And we're just about finished, so hang in there. So now we're going to look at slideshow, speaker notes, and outline mode. So on PowerPoint, it's not just about creating the PowerPoint, but what can you do with it to share your information. So the different modes of PowerPoint, manipulate PowerPoint, and print handouts. So you're going to open it up in slideshow mode. So that's how it usually opens up when you view a PowerPoint, just as a slideshow. And there are different commands. So if you go down below, you can choose slideshow, different types of layouts for how it views. So mess around with that a little bit, and here are different ways that you can move through your PowerPoint. So open up your PowerPoint and just mess around with some of these buttons. You're not going to hurt anything, just to see what it does, how you can view things differently. Now, speaker notes is an important part of PowerPoint because oftentimes you'll present your information, right? So what you do with speaker notes, if you see down below here, below the slide, you can type in notes. Then you would be able to look at those notes as you show people a presentation, or you could print out the notes and different things like that. So that's how speaker notes are handy. Printing handouts. This is really important. Now, printing handouts, so I have my PowerPoint up and I'd hit File, Print, and then I can go down here and print handouts like I want to give to people in my session, and I can do different slides per page. I can do 2 slides per page, 3, or even 6 slides per page. So that's the answer to that Class Connect write-up question. So it's handouts, and you can do 2, 3, or even 6 slides per page. You can print your notes pages out, so then you would have them available to read as you're doing your presentation for others. The toolbar, so this is just talking more about different toolbars within PowerPoint. So take a look at that just to refresh your memory a little bit. So in this part, we talked about the different slideshow modes, printing handouts, saving paper, and using speaker notes. We learned about all of those things. So in all of this unit, all about presentations, we did all of this. The text box, title text box, slides, drawing objects, we did bullets, we did all of this stuff, didn't we? Finally, the Unit 5 exam, so that's over here, and of course there's the Unit 5 exam preview. So let's go back to the write-up and make sure I answered Section 6. I did. What option do you have if you want to print your presentation to give your audience? Well, you can print out the handouts, can't you? 2, 3, or even 6 slides per handout. So we did answer all of that. So now I'm going to go back here, and for the work for this week, the assignment directions. As always, this video tells you exactly how to do the assignment directions. And then if you go down here, assignment samples, I don't have the presentations one because all your presentation is going to be different. I may find one to put up in here, but what you want to do is just make sure that you fulfill all the requirements. Remember, you have for this presentations unit, you have 2 assignments. You have Project 1, which is a 3-slide presentation, then Project 2, where you're taking your Project 1 presentation and you're adding a detail, like graphic image slide as slide number 4. So I'm going to go so here we are in PowerPoint, and just a few things that it talked about. You can put a text box in. So here's a text box, and I'm going to put Ron, Kim, Robert. So I put my family in there and hit enter, and then I can highlight. I can right click, bullets, and I can choose the type of bullets I want. I can go up here and choose the type of bullets I want. So let me drag that back down. So I'd highlight all that again. Go up here and I can choose numbered bullets, or I could choose alphabetic characters. So that's so I can do different bullets. If this was like my slide 4 for the second project, I could go up here. Here's how I can add an arrow. I can add lots of different, look at all these different things I could add in. Here's kind of an interesting arrow if your presentation is going to look like that. Now just don't add these things just to add them. Make them a part of your presentation because they're an important part of your presentation, not just a bunch of junk. You can do these call outs. This is kind of fun, isn't it? Do a little call out thing, and then you can, what you'd have to do with that is you would create a text box. I could create a text box. I could kind of put that text box in there, and I would have to bring it to the front or send that to the back. So then this would be right on the top of this. So I could do if I had characters in here, I could make it like a character talking to another character or something. Anyway, your fourth slide is going to have a lot of these objects that are related to your presentation. So it must be like a summary of your presentation. So that's all I have for you. All of this work for week 6 for the presentations unit, and again, it might not be week 6 for the class you're in, but this is all the presentations unit. Make sure you look at the assignment directions recording I have and see if there are any assignment samples there. Okay, look forward to your work coming in. Thanks everyone. Bye.